What a lovely surprise. Welcome. Hoishi, why don't you go downstairs and get the shopkeeper to make us a fresh pot of tea? I heard that you've been traveling all over the place recently. I would very much like to hear your adventure stories. Hoishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry, I'm quite all right. It's just the years. As I grow older, I'm starting to find that with many things, I am still very much in good standing as the Tianshu today. Nevertheless...
How difficult is it to transfer the Tianshu position?
Oh, well, you see, the Tianshu is a rather unique position among the Liyue Qixing. Historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We stay behind the scenes. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu candidates free from influence by outside. For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends their candidate of choice, and this is then approved by the other Qixing members.
So in other words, you pick someone, and then Lady Keqing, Lady Ningguang...
Correct. Unfortunately, due to my health. Not to despair, however, because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my behalf as assessment officer.
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than this to forget all about me.
It's Yelan!
Jackpot. Uncle Tian here asked me to assess 3 candidates for him. Fancy joining me? You'll be among the first to get to know the next Tianshu.
What do you think? Paimon thinks so too. It can't be a bad thing to be on...
All right then. Though, I gotta say, Uncle Tian, you say you're into behind-the-scenes planning?
Huh? Yelan, you want to be...
I'm not opposed to the idea, but I suspect Ningguang wouldn't let you go very easily. So how about this? If your investigation reveals that none of the other candidates are qualified for the position...
Deal. Well, you guys take your time. Everything's all set for the assessments to go. Meet me on the first floor when you're ready. Until then, have a pleasant conversation. Oh, and no need to pay for your tea. As the new owner of this fine establishment, this runs on the house. You're all set?
Uncle Tian seems really worn...
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tian is past his prime. He's not cut out for this anymore. So he's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are Qinwei, Mingguo, and Zhi. Qinwei is a wealthy entrepreneur. Mingguo works at the Liyue Ministry of Civil Affairs, and Zhi is focused on study and travel. Try to keep all that in mind. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you forget.
Qianwei, Mingbo, Zhi. Paimon should be able to remember their names, but what...
Let's leave that until we get to Yuehai Pavilion. All right. Heads in the game, people. The stakes don't get much higher than a change in the Qixing.
Got it. We'll keep our eyes wide open.
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I don't even get a chair. I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made to stand while I'm waiting for an appointment.
Oh, I mean,
That's called being complacent. If you're happy to just accept the way things are...
Oh, come on. That's just...
All right, you two. Let's not get into a big argument over this. It's not worth it. Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. We've all been standing around for a while. It's natural to be getting irritable. Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait, so why don't...
Fine. They're not the best quality chairs to be...
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived. We'll meet them formally soon. Before that, let me run you through the assessment process. I've split it into 2 stages: current affairs and planning, and face-to-face interview. In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. In the second, writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Wow, one of them is really thick.
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianshu will be expected to implement their plan as put forward in the... Failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. Therefore, these 3 piles of documents in front of us, there's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of what each person's proposing. I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me know when you're done. Finished, huh? What did you think?
Everyone took it very seriously.
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked as the new Tianshu, so you can bet their... And keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. Nobody wants to have any regrets. That's for me to know and you to find out. We can talk more after the interview. We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time. Start with Qianwei.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you two are the assessment officers, are you? I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in person. I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp. It was written with an expert audience in mind, after...
Mind your tone, mister.
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was simply stating a fact. Cloud Retainer? You know this Adeptus? Oh, yes, I remember now. You must be the traveler that people are constantly talking about. With your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps you will be able to...
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Please, introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I work in the Ministry of Civil Affairs. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months, and 3 days. In that time, I've handled, 2,300... I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in, 16 days? My current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts, To be more precise, there are 3 parts to the accounts, namely...
Is it just Paimon, or is he not very good at public speaking?
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction there and move on to some questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hello. Not gonna lie, what would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away and I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability.
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be sure that you have the ability to put your plan into action?
Very fair question. I completely understand where you're coming from, but I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more expertise than myself, and my manifesto, of course, 2 different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach 2 very contradictory conclusions depending on which one you're focusing on. What I've tried to do is strike a balance.
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed solution being the optimal one?
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the Yuehai Pavilion evaluate any proposals before implementation. Post-implementation, it would all come down to the if it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor results, I would take responsibility.
Nice answer. All right, next.
He seems like a great guy. Everything he said was thoughtful and logical, and he was just a pleasure to listen.
Here's my take on what we just learned. As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes many excellent ideas in his manifesto which effectively target the big issues. But he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. He doesn't care much about other people's feelings. Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell he's meticulous in his work, very detail-oriented. But he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingbo is not very articulate and comes across as very timid in conversation.
Perfect summary. Paimon couldn't agree more. You're good.
Last but not least, Zhi. His manifesto is full of pertinent details, his methodology is sound, and his proposals cover a broad range of fields, which is quite a rare feat. The depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone like Zhi take the position would certainly put Uncle...
Great.
We'll see. All right, then let me ask this. The ideas in Zhi's manifesto are...
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates. Those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past. But Qianwei went on to focus on his business, and Mingbo has always been occupied with his work at the Ministry of Civil Affairs.
Whoa. So how did you get to know them all, Uncle?
Qianwei was referred to me by an old friend. Mingbo came to my attention in the course of my work, and as for Zhi, I was pure. We first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know each other, Zhi came from a poor family, and his parents died when he was very young. He reminded me of a younger version of myself, so I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing and noticed how quickly he got on. Quite. And now, all of a sudden, He's grown. The young are growing up, and I am growing old. How time flies.
I don't know, Uncle Tian. You still seem in pretty good shape to me. You might have another few years of work left in you.
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. Having less energy than I used to isn't such a bad thing.
Sounds like you sure love fish.
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh, and freshly caught fish,
Fresh fish soup.
doesn't it? Also, some time ago, when we've been fishing recently, Jerry always brings some extra ingredients he prepared in advance. The addition of these makes that flavor makes for a fond memory. But at my age, who knows how many more
Oh, can Paimon come next time too?
Let's get back to the matter at hand. Uncle Tian,
I appointed you as the assessment officer. Had you not asked me why Jerry's ideas were so similar to mine, I was not This decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please disregard all other consideration. Remember, you must be thorough.
understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tian. So, it's gonna be Jerry, right? His manifesto was written well, and he's the best speaker.
Easy. Let's not rush. There's no time limit.
Huh? So, are you gonna give...
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me give you a word of advice. The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden beneath many layers of deception. For example, Wenyuan, Shanghua.
Yes?
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they? Where did they come from?
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shanghua. They work for me. As my trusted assistants, they are always standing guard nearby. They also perform various assignments. Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also Upei, who's not here right now.
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right? I seem to remember that he can't...
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and whip.
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, go to the Ministry of Civil Affairs and look through Mingbo's work files.
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Jerry?
Zhi, well, obviously, as the most promising. Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people passing through there. You can find out all.
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to Bulai, the owner of Wanyu Boutique? He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe he has some...
That's actually not a bad.
See some action.
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this price. How am I supposed to turn a profit?
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, this is the single best batch of Sunsettias ever. I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned sweet.
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded. If you won't take him, I'll just have to partner with them instead. And no-
Okay, well, when you put it that way, I'll accept... Oh, what are you doing here? And to be clear, these Sunsettias are mine. I got to them first. Don't get any ideas.
Actually, we wanted to ask you about a guy called Jerry. Have you heard of him before?
Jerry? Yes, I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. His parents, one of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time. But Juri never retaliated. And he returned cruelty with kindness. Injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and character, and... how did I not know?
He sounds like a decent man.
Why are you asking about him anyway? You aren't a... Look, well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the...
Where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Lenlong. Come on, let's try not to let him see you. We want this information to be...
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this.
I understand. Let's walk and talk. So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see.
What's the hurry? Don't get too close, or he'll see you. Try not to let him see you. We want this information.
I understand. Let's walk and talk. So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine, who likes to have a drink now and then, he fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me, then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Thank you very much, Miss Lenlong.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Juri. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see. I'll be sure to pick out a good set for you. You can count on me. Juri seems to get along really well with everyone. Are you satisfied now, Yelan? Seems like everyone...
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go check out the wharf where he usually goes.
Do we have to? Wait, you're not just trying to dig up some dirt on Juri because you...
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But hey, if I do become Tianshu, you'll be able to try all the finest food for free. How does...
We will? Well, come on! Off to...
What's the hurry?
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers.
Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the, Liyue Anglers Association. We've heard about this young man called Juri, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman. Just wondering if you have...
Whoa! Yelan made up a whole fake identity.
Ah, yes, Juri. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place. Apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. Had to work How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if there's anything to that
Yeah, we think so too.
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
Oh? Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he catches to me on occasion. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about. If you're looking to recruit some new members, though, I do know a few top anglers I could put you in touch with.
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to right now, though, so why don't I come?
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000. You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello, we're from the Society for Fish Price Research. We'd just like to ask a few questions.
Wow, she's sweet.
Society for Fish Price Research?
Please, don't worry. We're just here to conduct a We've heard about a certain Jur-E who's been selling fresh fish at low prices.
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it...
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount of debt. No one wanted anything to do with him. He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had a bandage wrapped around his head. He managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But still to this day, I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a... It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business.
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that I think he has pretty low self-esteem. But hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved already puts most people to shame. And nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him, that's all.
I see. Well, thank you for...
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name.
Hey, it's you guys! Wait, what's the phrase? Oh yeah, what brings you to me?
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial artist.
Really?
But of course, we also heard that Master Dooku is a kind and virtuous swordsman who...
Great! So what do you wish to know? Nothing...
Now she's lying to a kid.
So, Master Dooku, have you...
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking? I've heard many tales of Jur-E. Probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about...
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then...
Oh yeah, I know that. Before that, people always used to talk about Jur-E in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But 2 or 3 months ago, sometimes he gives me candies. So I'm glad that...
Just as I thought.
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, just as I thought, Master Dooku is indeed as...
I'm not that great. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before talking about Jur-E stories in the street.
Oh, definitely.
Great! So next time I see them, I'll say hi. And I guess...
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure my friend would also like to...
Thank you, ma'am!
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well, Master Dooku.
Until we meet again.
Any of that sound strange to you?
Strange? What was Stranger Yi seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle Gas.
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden
Sudden? Too good to be true?
So he returns cruelty with kindness and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. But Uncle Soon said even his friends who travel far and wide hear about him wherever they go. Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Jur-Yi's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Jur-Yi, his childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor, none of these are recent events.
When you put it like that,
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Jur-Yi was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying, traveling, or paying off debts. I don't think he has the mora to pay for a publicity campaign. Right. And that changes everything. It can mean a powerful faction is trying. That's the worst case scenario. But all too often, the most pessimistic speculation.
someone's trying to gain influence over the Qixing? Even if we asked Jur-Yi about it, surely there's no way he'd admit it.
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after taking office, whoever is secretly helping Jur-Yi must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. So, we should be able to find some hints in Jur-Yi's manifesto on who we're dealing with. Come on, let's get back to Yenshang Tea House. Jur-Yi's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't I'll divide the reports into two piles. You take one, I'll take the other. Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long.
Yikes! We better hurry!
Whatever else Uncle Tian might think of Jur-Yi, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite. Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look...
Even though Yelan took half, this is, well, we gotta... Oh, this reading is giving...
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers, Shanghua! If you're back, that means you finished...
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Qianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Qianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of the businesses under his name?
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked around and found out that almost all of Qianwei's accounts are open to the public. Where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protecting it at all. Qianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is pretty infuriating when you think about it.
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business.
To validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights. It's all the result of his first-hand experimentation.
I'm back! Huh?
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills, and am
You... Ugh, whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I hadn't had something else to take care of on the way, I would... Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Mingbo.
Well, we're all ears.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Mingbo struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting with... But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the Ministry of Civil Affairs was very positive. He always considers the things that everyone else overlooks.
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Mingbo at all...
I don't believe so. Mingbo is someone who has slowly but surely earned... According to Miss Yu, the Ministry often gets Mingbo to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the Ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Mingbo gave them the scolding of a lifetime. Apparently, he can be terrifying when he loses his temper.
Whoa, that's hard to imagine.
Like I said before, things are not always as they appear.
Ah, so that's what you meant by that. Paimon's starting to...
Thank you both. You're free to go now. So, have you finished reading the manifesto?
We still...
I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Cheungshu Pool redevelopment plan. Cheungshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there, so there are even more. At some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure buried beneath Cheungshu. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team conducted an...
So, did they find any treasure?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the excavation project was shut down. Zhi-Yi's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. It seems out of step with the rest of it. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this treasure. Did you find anything?
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of the manifesto? Oh yeah! Zhi-Yi said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first...
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Zhi-Yi wants the Blackcliff Forge to excavate the
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is Zhi-Yi's secret supporter?
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any powerful faction. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many... Still, Since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should see where they...
Shenwei and Mingbo both turned out to be completely different than what we thought. What about Zhi? Is there another side to him too?
Cryo is always far more effective in the rain. This is going to get interesting.
This is the Blackcliff Forge. Let's look around for clues.
What's this?
From the back, it looks like a ledger, but it seems they also use it as a site log. We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, don't you think?
You think they're suspicious?
Yes. Look, it says right there, one of them's at this rate. By the time the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready to roll, that'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy any secret texts or steal any treasure they find underground. Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Zhi recommends the Blackcliff Forge for the excavation project, at most we would maybe do a fresh background check on. No red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decided to vet the staff individually, they'd have had more than enough time by... That's the advantage of planning this far in advance. It was a clever move.
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If we hadn't found this out, someone else would have stolen it, so... who's...
That's a question for the newcomers.
Excuse us. We want to ask you about the newcomers.
You want them to teach you? Or... I gotta say, these newcomers are in tip-top shape. My only complaint is that they're always going out drinking at night. I guess they just need some time to adjust. I'm sure we'll get to...
They go out drinking. This area isn't exactly renowned.
You got that right. They tell me they go all the way back to Liyue Harbor to drink it. It rained after work today, so they actually stuck around at the site for a while. But as soon as the rain... Hey, you're only young once, right? I say, if they can have...
Interesting. Let's go talk somewhere else. Looks like our hunch was on the Mora. These newcomers are very suspicious. Drinking in Liyue Harbor, huh? Some cover story. I'll wager they've been going to intelligence. Good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints. I doubt they'd give them some...
They went that way! Hurry, we gotta catch up! These footprints are heading towards Liyue Harbor. Maybe we were wrong about them.
Just as I thought. They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way. The footprints stop here. But, judging from the direction... Looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers rendezvous with whoever they're working for. Look at these ashes. Someone was burning documents.
Could there be anything left? Maybe the wind could have blown the fire out before everything.
The odds of that are very slim. It's practically impossible. I've checked. All the paper's been burned.
Why don't we wait for them back at the Blackcliff Forge? They've gotta go back there soon.
We can't count on that. Clearly they were based here at one point, but to me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere else to throw our investigation.
Darn! Guess this is where a trip.
Make no mistake, the purpose of our trip wasn't to find any solid evidence. We just need to. I smelled something peculiar the moment I came in. Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they failed to consider is that paper and ink from different regions produce different odors when.
Really? Paimon can't smell anything. Do you smell anything?
There is a certain place with a freezing cold climate where there's nothing but ice as far. Some wealthy people there put floral fragrance in their ink as a way of injecting a little romance. When that fragrant ink is burned, this is the exact odor that it leaves behind. Exactly. The evidence will soon be blown away by the wind, so it's nothing we can arrest anyone with. But it's all I need. Now I know who we're dealing with. I can plan.
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you again.
Who are you?
Don't be alarmed. This is Upei. He's Wenyuan and Shanghua's colleague. I sent him to look into Zhiyi's regular contacts. Since Zhiyi likes fishing, Upei thought he might know some of the fishermen and sailors, so he took a boat out to sea to ask around. I left him a note at Yanshang Tea House telling him to look for me at Blackcliff Forge when he got back. If there'd been an ambush waiting for us there, it means we'd have had some backup. So, what did you find out it's—
Forgive my incompetence. I'm afraid I've come up empty-handed. I asked all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Zhiyi before. Then the waves got so choppy, when I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Blackcliff Forge and might need backup, so I went straight there as fast as—
Well, Uncle Tian said that Zhiyi once bought a recipe from one of the fishermen. Did you hear—
What? That's news— No, that's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. Lady Yelan, I'm telling you, I spoke to every single—
Interesting. Then I wonder how that even more wonderful fish soup—
Fish soup? What fish soup?
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to get our hands on some solid evidence. Well, any suggestions? Not a bad idea. Upei, what do you—
Honestly, I've already tried following Zhiyi, but the guy's too cautious. Never meets with anyone
Okay, so tailing's out.
No, we'll still need to tail him. But first, we need to do some groundwork.
Groundwork?
When you've worked in intelligence for a long time, you'll understand that no one can stay on high alert forever. Especially when he thinks tomorrow morning I'll announce his victory at Yuehai Pavilion. Take a guess what you think he'll do next. Be sure to arrive on time. You won't want to miss the show. It looks like we're all here. Well then, time for me to I won't drone on about the importance of the Tianshu role. Suffice to say that Uncle Tian entrusted me with the monumentally important—
All of us here know the score. Don't beat around the bush, just get on with it.
Qianwei has many pioneering ideas, but some of his plans are lacking in detail, and Mingbo is reliable, but not quite ambitious enough. And because of his personality, he struggles to win people. In contrast, Zhi is evenly balanced across the board, and enjoys after much consideration.
What?
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Honestly, I'm a little surprised to hear my name being announced. In my estimation, all three of us are worthy candidates for the Tianshu position. As your competitor, I've become keenly aware— Would either of you entertain the possibility of working with me in the future? And taking on some of my workload?
I'll have to see. I'm in a bad mood.
I don't mind, as long as I can help.
Okay, well, that's all from me. Zhi, you'll have some preparation to do. It won't be long before you're informed of your official appointment. I hope you will work hard and make Uncle Tian proud.
I will live up to the Tianshu name. On this, you have my word. I should go. I need to pack my things, and then I think a celebratory meal is in order. Would anyone like to join me?
Count me out. I'm not in the mood.
Zhi seems pretty relaxed now. This would be a good time to follow him.
Hey, Traveler, tell me something. What exactly does that guy have that I don't? If you can't answer that, I'm not accepting this result.
I, also wouldn't—
Oh no, if we get stuck here, we won't be—
Follow him.
Yes, ma'am.
We finally got rid—
Lady Yelan, Zhi has gone towards Feiyun Slope.
Follow him, quickly.
So Zhi really sided with the Fatui? But Uncle Tian thinks so highly of him. Why would he do this?
Difficult to say, but everything should become a lot clearer when we find him.
Sorry, Lady Yelan. We lost him. He's too good at this. We weren't able to keep following him without being—
How the heck did he manage to shake Yelan? I guess Zhi didn't let his guard down.
No, Upe says he's much more relaxed than usual. Maybe it's just how he's wired. Perceptive enough to—
But how?
Don't blame yourselves. Let's not forget he was trained by Uncle Tian himself. If I'd asked you to tail Uncle Tian, you'd have ended up at a dead end too. It's fine.
Shinue Kiosk. He only went in briefly. Upe and I were watching outside the whole time. A few moments later, a man dressed in a completely different outfit came out. Upe had a feeling that it was him, but we couldn't get— I figured that if we spooked him, it would undo what we've accomplished today so far. Another option would have been to arrest him there and then. So I stopped Upe, and I stayed here to wait for you while that meathead went to ask around in Shinue Kiosk.
Good work. The fish didn't take the bait, but that's okay. As long as he's still swimming around, we'll find a way to catch him eventually. The key is figuring out what he's trying to achieve. Let's go to Shinue Kiosk.
Could you explain to me how that works? A guy like him comes in, changes his whole outfit right under your nose, and you don't even ask him about it?
Our customers are free to dress however they please. What grounds would I have to question him?
Okay, fair enough, but didn't you think it was just a little bit—
Well, maybe I did, but it still doesn't give me the right to stop him.
Enough. Let's tone this down a little. I'll make this quick. Just one question. What did...
Oh, he didn't buy anything. He just picked up a bottle of liquor that he ordered ages ago.
A bottle of liquor?
Yes, a very strong kind. Fiery, with a rich flavor. This gentleman ordered it in person from us a long time ago. He was...
Liquor and wine.
Where to?
Shigu Antiques. Hey, Miss Linlong. Sorry to bother you. Zhi ordered a... We're friends of his. He's been telling us how impressed he is with the quality.
Sure. Which model are you looking?
We don't really know a whole lot about wineware. Let's just go with Zhi's...
Zhi picked up his set not long ago. As a quality imitation of an antique wineware set, it has just so you're aware, we don't have many of this model left in stock. And now that Mr. Zhi has taken...
Don't worry. Price shouldn't be an issue. I'm sure we can work something out. But I'm just a little hazy on...
For this set, the wine glasses are sold separately. Minimum purchase is 1 glass, maximum is 4.
Okay. Thanks, Linlong. Seems there's a little more to buying wineware than I first thought.
Well, don't take too long. We could sell out any day now. All right.
This is turning into a real headache.
I'd just like to point out that we have the self-professed Grand Master of Fieldwork here to thank for...
It's not like you did any better.
My specialty is information trading, okay? I don't have the physical agility. What's your...
Yelan, so has the plan failed? Oh, if we can't figure out where Jerry went, there's not much we can do. But...
If so, it's no ordinary...
What do you mean?
First of all, Zhi isn't much of a drinker. On some level, he hates alcohol because of what it did to his father. If he was just looking to celebrate by himself, he wouldn't spend his meager savings on an expensive bottle of... No. This is a victory feast. Held in honor... Whoever this person is clearly enjoys hard liquor and has a very high status. Now, where might we find Fatui who match that description, I wonder?
Fatui officials. Should be...
Have both locations surrounded. Take as many...
Lady Yelan, is it time for us to make our move?
Get with the program, would you? This is a covert surveillance operation. Zhi may be vigilant, but that doesn't mean this... In which case, we don't need to change tactics.
Great idea! So we just need to find out who Jerry...
But Lady Yelan, if we get caught, this could become a major...
I'm well aware, but don't you see? Zhi is gambling everything on this. If we really want to catch him, we're going to stick to your orders and make sure we're covering all other bases too. Anywhere else Zhi might be going.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry, Lady Yelan. Zhi may be a slippery character, but we'll keep a close watch.
I'll be waiting for you at the tea house. If I'm guessing correctly, Fatui officials are likely to take action at night. You should...
Quite the find.
Perfect timing. Wenyuan just sent word that the Fatui ambassador, Yusupov, just left the embassy.
Qingshu Pool? That's the place Jerry mentioned in...
It looks like that's where they've arranged to meet. Sensible choice. Qingshu Pool is always crawling with monsters. Most people wouldn't dream of going there. It's one place they won't need to...
Oh no, we gotta...
Let's go. If my hunch is correct... This is Qingshu Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a worker's entrance somewhere around here. Follow me. There's been some work done on this place in the past, but it's a bit of a labyrinth inside. I can't guarantee. The workers left an emergency access route. If we can find it, Still, be ready to fight at any moment. Any resistance needs to be taken out.
Don't worry, we're all professionals here. By the way, Yelan, where are your 3 little help?
They have other things to take care of first. We couldn't afford to wait for... Quietly now.
With all my strength. This dance is for you. Hi!
Propagate! As I expected. But this shouldn't be too much trouble.
Ambassador here to meet you. That must be the emergency access route, right?
This is the construction workers' emergency access route, but it's closed tight. Trying to break through would be risky. Let's see if we can find another way. Busted!
Scatter!
I'll protect us. Down! Hey!
Take it easy.
Propagate!
Game's up. Fun's over.
Propagate!
The water's flowed into the groove, and now the statues have lit up. Okay, now we should be able to move the statues. Take it easy.
The door is open. Let's go!
We should be nearly at the bottom now. Let's wrap this up. Take it easy. Gotcha!
Scatter! Germinate!
All eyes on me!
Here comes the catch.
Practice on for size. Ready, steady, go!
I can tell from the aroma that this is very fine liquor. Come on, bottoms up. After you, of course.
Oh, sorry.
You'll get there. If you want to stay friends...
I'll do my best.
You're more of a lightweight than I thought. Already struggling after... I thought you were made of sterner stuff. You certainly kept it together when you were poisoning your teacher's soup. Come on, another round. Less talking, more drinking.
Sure. You didn't leave me much of a choice, though, did you? Just the mention of poisoning sends shivers to... I'm more timid than you realize. Every time I poisoned him, I had to hide away at home for a few days because I was so...
Look, I know it has not been easy for you, my friend. We appreciate all your hard work. But, I have to say, you really are quite a genius at poisoning. I mean, the poison we brought from Snezhnaya is as strong as this wine, but you found a way to turn it into an imperceptible, slow-acting poison, and came up with the idea of delivering it through... What was it you said? Oh, yeah. You said the soup's fishy flavor neutralizes the pungency of the poison, and this process...
It struck me one day when I was fishing. I'm lucky it did. Otherwise, I'm not sure I would have been able...
You have performed excellently. The Fatui will continue to provide the support you need to consolidate your position as Tien. Aside from Qingshu Pool, we also have some other requests for you.
Don't worry. Whatever tasks you have...
Did you hear that? It was poison! That's why Uncle Tien is a... What a nasty guy!
Hold on. Did you bring a camera? If not, you can use mine. This is quite a scene. We have to cap...
Excellent liquor. We've, seen no progress on the diplomatic front, and everyone has been eyeing up the treasure. But soon, everything will be taken care of. and I can report back on a successful... I remember when I first saw you. I knew right away that you would make a good partner for us. Hey, do you still...
How could I forget? You said a lowly commoner like me could never be seen as a serious candidate for the Tianshu. No matter how hard the only way is for you to shine bright in the Tianshu's darkest moment. I think you were absolutely...
Yes. Under normal circumstances, the gap between you and other people could only ever grow wider over time. Just look at your two competitors. Qianwei had wealth. Mingbo had reputation. And that's why I decided to help you. You know, there's an old saying in the Fatui. Give a starving dog a bone, and it'll guard your...
Yes. I cannot thank you.
You know, the best thing about you is that you do as you're told without... heck, when you're not in the company of the Fatui, you'll be able to throw your...
Uncle Gao said that Zhi has low self-esteem. Seems he was right. He was worried that whatever advantage he might have now will diminish over time. So the Fatui... Do you have any more film in the camera? Then get ready to use it. Tonight's grand finale. How well this goes for us depends on how Zhi plays his hand.
Ooh, is there any more alcohol? Go on. Fill me up. I'm in a good mood today.
There's only a little left. Here, I'll fill your glass. If you like it, I can bring you some more next time.
Whoa, this is the good stuff. Huh? Zhi, you...
You seem surprised, Mr. Yusupov.
You...
How could I not? I've sacrificed years of my life studying and reflecting to prepare myself for this position. You really think I'd put myself through all that just to become your little puppet?
You imbecile. It's the Fatui who got you to where you are. Do you understand?
Do you see the haystack in the corner? Underneath it is a pile of explosives. And next door in the dark room are the 3 undercover agents you sent to infiltrate the Black Cliff Forge. I'm gonna stay here till I see you slip into unconsciousness. Then I'm gonna set this on fire. Once the flames burn through the hay, they'll ignite the explosives.
What?
I took the liberty of leaving some evidence of your contact with the undercover agents at the Black Cliff Forge. It won't take long for people to join. The Fatui planted undercover agents in the Black Cliff Forge to steal their signature ruin-grade explosives. Their plan was to blow through the solid floor. But things didn't quite go to plan. Faced with the overwhelming evidence, the embassy won't investigate this any further. In fact, there'll be only 2. It explains why you acted alone, while exonerating the rest of the embassy of any... Of course, none of that will have anything to do with me. When all of this comes to my attention, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to cancel the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan immediately.
Zhi, do you really think you're gonna get away with this? The Fatui has a record of everything. That includes the poison. After I die, they'll come looking.
A record? Oh, you must mean the one in the hands of your...
What? How?
Because when you contacted me, I also made contact with your associates. I have Theophon. He'll help me tie up all the loose ends. After all, he has been eyeing your position for a... Shh. Relax. It's over. After tonight, everyone... Sweet dreams, Mr. Yusupov.
I did a little surveying on the way here and found that you'd left yourself 3 escape routes in case things went south. I have them all surrounded. If you're thinking of trying anything, we were here the whole time and have pictures of everything. They came out pretty—
The game's up? Forgive me, I happened to discover a Fatui operation here, so I approached them on the pretext of joining forces and eventually brought them down from within. If it—
This is how you want to play it, huh? Fine. You do you. All we need to do to convict you is establish— Nothing else you wanted to add?
One wrong move and it all comes crashing down. You followed him here, didn't you? I was so focused on keeping myself out of sight. Let's talk about this, Yelan. I gave you my word that I would live up to the
Your point being?
When I take office, I can guarantee that I will act in your best interests. In fact, all of you here tonight can expect very generous treatment. I don't deny that I used underhanded methods to get here. But given my lowly origin—
You still don't get it, do you? Even— What do you think? Exactly. Jur-E, clever people can always come up with a good excuse. But while you might be able to get other people to believe you, you'll never be able to deceive. There's nothing wrong with wanting to win other people's respect, but when has Uncle Tien ever looked down on you? He was like a teacher and a father to you, but you chose to repay that by poisoning him. Whatever positive goal you may have—
That's enough.
Of course. What makes this even crueler is that you managed to convince yourself there was no other way. Uncle Tien was always going to give you this opportunity. Out of everyone in the world, he is the one who trusts you the most. So much—
That's enough!
Life is like fishing. It cannot be rushed. Whatever you do, impatience will accomplish nothing. I was just like you once, desperate to prove myself. Only later did I realize things do not always turn out the way you plan, but you have to keep calm to carry on. You're still young. Be patient, believe in yourself, and don't look outside yourself to prove your value. Where's Jur-E these days? It's been a long time since he last paid me a visit.
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, next time, if he doesn't bring a pot of piping hot fish soup, don't let him in.
Whatever you were thinking about, you'll have plenty of time to mull it over in prison. Oh, I almost forgot. If the Fatui find out what happened today, prison might not turn out to be the safest place for you. Trying to have friends on both sides, it has a way of turning everyone against you. But right now, I have an opportunity for you.
Huh?
Sorry, things are about to get extremely busy for me. Let's meet at Yenshang Tea House tomorrow morning. I'll have someone remove the explosives. Then, there's someone I have to go and see.
Need our help with that?
No, it could be dangerous. You should leave this one to the professionals. Don't worry. As long as they're willing to cooperate, this'll get some rest. See you tomorrow.
There is now no poison left in his system.
Dr. Baiju, is my father going to be...
You needn't worry too much. Keep taking the prescribed medicine every day. It's good we caught it in time. A few days later, and the toxin would have built up in the internal...
How did they successfully secure such a seldom-seen poison? It seems that, unfortunately for them, they were up against us.
Uncle Tien will be heading off now. Remember to get plenty of rest and avoid overexerting yourself.
Don't worry, I will. Thank you very much. Ah, you're here too? Thank you for all you've done. Yes, the exhaustion seems to have gone.
Luckily, it looks like choosing the Tianshu's successor is suddenly not such a pressing issue after all.
Hey, Yelan!
My work is mostly wrapped up, so I thought I'd take a minute to check in here. The assessment process comes to an end here, Uncle Tien. In my opinion, Zhi is not suitable for the position.
You have my gratitude. People can change their loyalties easily.
Is it just Paimon, or is Uncle Tien not the...
Don't underestimate Uncle Tien. He wouldn't have appointed me as a... Normally, the Yue High Pavilion would be responsible for assessing the candidates.
Yes, to be quite honest, I wanted to trust him. When I first met Zhi, I wondered if he had approached me with a hidden agenda. I concluded that he had no ulterior motives whatsoever. He just saw me as an ordinary fishing friend. In the end, even he changed. But I never had any plans to recommend him directly, but I always intended to give him the chance to compete on a level playing field. I had no reputation to speak of when I first became Tianshu. I relied on Ganyu's assistance for all manner.
I have to admit, he's a smart guy. The intel suggests that the Fatui saw him as very low risk. But Zhi was still he chose that specific liquor from Xinyue kiosk because the fiery flavor would mask the bitterness of the poison. And he also installed a secret compartment in the wine pot he bought to hold the poison. As the amount of liquor went down, he'd shake the pot to release the poison from the compartment, and afterwards, we also found he had an antidote on him. Had the Fatui official grown suspicious, Zhi would have drunk the poisoned wine himself, and then found enough.
But that's still really dangerous.
Yes. Had he drunk the poisonous wine, he still would have faced serious health consequences despite taking the...
How is Zhi now?
Well, I mean, he's sitting in a jail cell. Still, he's cooperating. He didn't turn down my offer to strike a deal. I'll make sure there are plenty of guards around.
A deal? Does this have to do with what you said to him when you...
Yes, Zhi's not the one I'm interested in. If he was as far as this went, I'd have handed the case off to my subordinate. But once the Fatui became involved, things got a whole lot more interesting. I thought I might have the chance to...
Well, did you?
Almost. Unfortunately...
Uncle Tien? Yelan? What are you talking about? Paimon...
Zhi colluded with the Fatui to try and secure the position of Tianshu. Or, to put it with Yusupov in our hands, and a statement from Zhi, we'd be able to gain control of Theophan, Yusupov's second-in-command. Then we'd have pawns like this can be major assets. They open up all sorts of new options. Why else did you think I was investing so much?
So, okay...
We got halfway. The first part went off without a hitch, and we passed all the information on to Lady Ningguang. But when we tried to make contact with Theophan, he was gone.
The Fatui must be spying on us.
I found out from other sources that the Harbinger Regrator got involved. The Fatui's main forces aren't concentrated here. Regrader was only treating this as a peripheral concern. It's a pity that Theophan got away, but knowing which harbingers are still looking at Liyue is something.
I have to ask, Yelan. I remember you showed some interest a few days ago at Yenshang Tea House.
Oh, that. I was obviously joking. I prefer my current life. There's danger and there's excitement. Although it'd still be a behind-the-scenes role. As Tianshu, I wouldn't have the chance to get involved in anything. All right, I'm done here. Time for me to go. I'm heading off again in a few—
Where are you off to this time?
As you might have guessed. But I'm sure if you keep going as you are, getting yourselves involved in other people, maybe I'll see you the next time danger beckons. Until then, keep your wits about you. A lot of people are watching you. If you have any more questions, just ask Uncle Tian. After—
Time flies so fast. Before you know it, Lanterite's almost here again. The people of Liyue must have already started preparing for the most important festival of the year, right? Hopefully Paimon will be able to check out tons of great food again this year. Anyway, let's go to Liyue Harbor and see what's up.